welcome to the Deep Dive. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Paskvan Podcasts. It really helps the channel. Today we're diving into one of archaeology's biggest enigmas, the Nazca Lines of Peru. Imagine a canvas so vast it spans over 1,000 square kilometers.
Wow.
Etched with lines and geometric shapes.
Yeah.
And animal figures that can only be fully grasped from the air.
Yeah.
It's like an ancient message board. But who was sending the message?
Right.
And to whom? Joining me to help decipher this puzzle is an expert in archaeology and ancient cultures.
It's a pleasure to be here. The Nazca Lines truly are one of the most captivating mysteries of our planet.
So let's start at the beginning. What exactly are we looking at when we talk about the Nazca Lines? What do we know for sure?
Well, we know the Nazca Lines are a collection of hundreds of geoglyphs created by the Nazca people between 500 BCE and 500 CE.
Right.
They're located in the arid Nazca Desert, where the reddish-brown surface pebbles contrast sharply with the lighter earth beneath. And that contrast is key. By simply removing the top layer, the Nazca created these stunning figures that have endured for centuries.
It's remarkable how well preserved they are considering their age. It really speaks to the skill and planning involved.
Absolutely. The dry climate and lack of strong winds have played a huge role in preserving these lines, and their scale is truly mind-boggling. We're talking about straight lines that stretch for miles,
Wow.
perfectly formed geometric shapes, and detailed animal figures like a hummingbird, a monkey, a spider, a condor, each one a testament to the Nazca people's artistic vision and technical prowess.
And of course, there's the famous astronaut figure, which fuels all sorts of speculation
Yeah.
about extraterrestrial involvement.
Right.
It's easy to see why, right? A humanoid figure in the desert, visible from the sky. It's a recipe for wild theories.
It's definitely captured the imagination of many, and while the alien theory is intriguing, it's important to remember that the Nazca were a sophisticated culture with a deep understanding of their environment and impressive engineering skills.
Right.
They were masters of water management in one of the driest places on Earth,
Really?
creating elaborate underground aqueduct systems called pukios to tap into underground water sources and bring life to the desert.
It's amazing how they were able to thrive in such a challenging environment.
Exactly. And that ingenuity is reflected in the Nazca Lines. The same people who built these intricate irrigation systems were also capable of planning and executing these massive geoglyphs.
So before we dive into the various theories about the purpose of the lines, let's talk more about the people who created them. What else do we know about the Nazca culture? What were their beliefs, their practices, their worldview?
Well, the Nazca culture flourished between 100 BCE and 800 CE. They were known for their beautiful textiles, intricately decorated pottery, and their deep connection to the natural world. We know they conducted elaborate rituals, often incorporating music, dance, and hallucinogenic substances.
Really?
And they had a strong belief in the power of the mountains and the sky, which might offer clues to the meaning behind the lines.
It seems like understanding the Nazca people and their relationship with their environment is crucial to unlocking the secrets of the lines.
Precisely, and that's where things get really fascinating. Because with the Nazca Lines, we're not just looking at lines in the sand, we're looking at a window into their beliefs, their practices, their understanding of the cosmos.
That's a perfect segue into the various theories about the purpose of these lines. Now, obviously, the alien theory is the most sensational one.
Right.
It was popularized by Erich von Däniken in his book Chariots of the Gods back in the 1960s. And it's still a popular topic in the realm of ancient mysteries.
It's a theory that's hard to ignore, especially when you see aerial photographs of these immense figures. But while the alien theory is entertaining, most archaeologists and researchers believe the lines served a more earthly purpose, deeply rooted in the Nazca culture and their relationship with their environment.
Okay, so let's dive into some of those more grounded theories.
Yeah.
What are some of the leading explanations put forth by researchers?
Yeah.
What evidence do they rely on? And how do those theories connect back to what we know about the Nazca people?
One of the most compelling theories, and one that aligns with our understanding of the Nazca people, is the astronomical alignment theory.
Ah, yes. The giant calendar in the desert theory. This is the one that suggests some lines are aligned with significant celestial events.
Like solstices and equinoxes, right?
Exactly. And it makes sense when you think about the Nazca's dependence on agriculture. They lived in a desert environment where rainfall was scarce. So knowing the precise timing of the seasons was critical for their survival. It would be like having a giant permanent calendar etched into the earth.
And it goes beyond just planting and harvesting. Many ancient cultures viewed the heavens with a sense of awe and reverence, connecting celestial events to their myths and rituals.
That's a great point. The Nazca people were known to have a sophisticated understanding of astronomy. Some researchers believe certain figures, like the spider, may even represent constellations in the night sky. This suggests the lines might have been a way for the Nazca to connect with the cosmos, to honor the celestial bodies, and perhaps even to predict auspicious times for ceremonies or rituals. So it's not just a calendar, it's a reflection of their cosmology, their understanding of the universe and their place within it. That's incredibly thought-provoking. What other theories are out there?
Another compelling theory is the idea that the lines were ritual pathways. Imagine processions of people walking along these lines, enacting sacred journeys, performing ceremonies to appease the gods, or perhaps even enacting their myths and stories on a grand scale.
Like a pilgrimage, but on a monumental scale. I can almost picture it.
And we have archaeological evidence to support this idea. Ceremonial artifacts, like pottery and textiles, have been found near some of the geoglyphs, suggesting they were used in rituals. And remember, the Nazca were known for their elaborate rituals, often incorporating music, dance, and hallucinogenic substances. So the lines might have been a way to enhance those rituals, to create a heightened sense of connection with the spiritual realm.
It's fascinating to imagine these lines coming alive with the sounds and movements of the Nazca people during their ceremonies. It adds another layer of meaning and depth to these already enigmatic figures. We'll be right back after a quick break.
I look forward to diving deeper into this.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We're continuing our exploration of the Nazca Lines with an expert in archaeology and ancient cultures, trying to unravel the mystery behind these enigmatic figures, etched into the Peruvian desert. Before the break, we talked about two main theories: astronomical alignment and ritual pathways, both intriguing in their own right.
And both rooted in what we know about the Nazca people, their beliefs and their practices.
Right. It's like we're trying to understand their mindset, their way of seeing the world, to decipher the meaning behind these lines. And speaking of understanding their world, earlier you mentioned their remarkable ability to manage water in one of the driest places on Earth. Could that hold a clue to the purpose of the lines?
Absolutely. Water was essential for the Nazca, and their ingenuity in building the Puquio systems demonstrates just how vital it was to their survival. And this leads us to another prominent theory about the lines: the water cult theory.
Water cults. This sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
Well, in a desert environment when water is scarce, and its presence signifies life and prosperity, it's understandable that water would take on a sacred significance. Some researchers believe the Nazca developed rituals and beliefs around water, perhaps even deities associated with rain and fertility.
So the lines might have been a way of appealing to those deities, asking for their favor, ensuring a good harvest or a steady supply of water. It's like a giant prayer etched into the earth.
Exactly. And when you consider the Nazca's remarkable Puquio systems, it reinforces this idea that water was central to their lives, both practically and spiritually. The Puquios demonstrate their mastery of water management, and the lines could reflect the spiritual dimension of their relationship with this precious resource.
It paints a powerful picture of a people deeply connected to their environment, both in their ingenuity and their spirituality. But it also raises a question. We have these three fascinating theories: astronomical alignments, ritual pathways, and water cults, all plausible and interconnected. How do researchers navigate these different interpretations? Is there one prevailing theory, or is it more of a tapestry of possibilities?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of archaeological interpretation. There's rarely a single definitive answer. It's more about weighing the evidence, considering multiple perspectives, and piecing together a narrative that makes sense within the context of what we know about the culture. In the case of the Nazca Lines, these three theories aren't mutually exclusive. It's possible, even probable, that the lines served multiple purposes, reflecting the complex interplay of practical needs, spiritual beliefs, and social practices in Nazca society.
So it's not about finding the answer, but rather about exploring the range of possibilities and appreciating the complexity of the Nazca culture.
Precisely. And that's what makes studying ancient culture so fascinating. It's a process of discovery, of piecing together fragments of the past to create a richer, more nuanced understanding of who these people were and how they lived.
It's like we're detectives trying to solve a mystery.
Yeah.
But the clues are scattered across centuries and buried beneath the sands of time.
A very apt analogy. And just like detectives, we have to be open to different lines of inquiry, to unexpected twists and turns, and to the possibility that the answer might be more complex than we initially imagined.
Speaking of unexpected twists and turns, we can't ignore some of the more imaginative theories that have emerged around the Nazca Lines.
Yeah.
Before the break, we briefly touched on the alien theory, But there are others out there that, while perhaps not as widely accepted, still spark our curiosity and make us wonder.
Oh, absolutely. The Nazca Lines have always been a magnet for speculation and wonder. And some of these alternative theories, while perhaps not scientifically proven, are nonetheless thought-provoking and offer a glimpse into the boundless human imagination.
So let's have some fun and explore those more speculative ideas. What are some of the more out there theories that people have proposed?
Well, one that always captures the imagination is the idea that the Nazca might have built hot air balloons.
Wait, seriously? Ancient hot air balloons. How could they even?
I know it sounds incredible, right? But some researchers have experimented with materials that would have been available to the Nazca, such as woven fabrics and reeds coated with resin, and they've shown that it is possible to create simple hot air balloons with those materials.
So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. And if they did have hot air balloons,
Yeah.
it would certainly explain how they were able to create such large and intricate designs with such precision. Imagine soaring above the desert, looking down at your creation. It would be a breathtaking sight.
It would indeed, and it would add another layer of awe and mystery to the Nazca Lines. But even if they didn't have hot air balloons, the fact that some people have considered this possibility speaks to the enduring power of the lines. To spark our imaginations and make us wonder about the limits of human ingenuity.
It makes you wonder what other seemingly impossible feats ancient cultures might have achieved that we haven't yet discovered.
Absolutely. The past is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. And the Nazca Lines are a powerful reminder that we should never underestimate the creativity and resourcefulness of our ancestors.
Okay, so we have ancient hot air balloons. What other imaginative theories have people proposed?
Well, there's the idea that the lines were messages to the gods, a way for the Nazca to communicate with the heavens, perhaps asking for rain, good harvests, or protection from harm.
Giant billboards for the gods. It's an intriguing thought.
It is. It speaks to the scale of their ambition and their desire to connect with forces beyond their control. And then there's the idea that the lines were a prehistoric map system, guiding people across the desert, perhaps to important ceremonial sites or water sources.
But the lines seem so jumbled and abstract. How could they be a map?
That's true. They don't resemble a traditional map. But some researchers believe they might represent specific routes or pathways through the desert, marked by recognizable landmarks or aligned with celestial bodies. And remember, this was a time before compasses and GPS. People relied on their knowledge of the landscape, the stars, and perhaps even these enigmatic lines to navigate their world.
So it's not a map in the modern sense, but more like a system of markers or guides. A way of encoding knowledge about the landscape and transmitting it across generations.
Exactly. It speaks to the ingenuity of the Nazca people and their deep connection to their environment. They were able to create a system of navigation that was both functional and imbued with spiritual significance.
It's amazing to think about how much knowledge and meaning might be encoded in these lines waiting for us to decipher. And speaking of deciphering meaning, we can't forget about one of the more esoteric theories, the idea of ley lines.
Ah, yes, ley lines. This one definitely takes us into the realm of the mystical and the unexplained.
For those who aren't familiar with Nazca Lines, can you explain what they are and how they relate to the Nazca Lines?
Ley lines are hypothetical alignments of ancient sites, natural features, and energy fields. Some people believe these lines represent channels of powerful energy that flow through the earth, connecting places of spiritual significance.
So they think the Nazca Lines might be connected to these ley lines.
Precisely. Proponents of this theory suggest that the Nazca people might have been aware of these energy fields and intentionally created their designs to align with them.
It's certainly a thought-provoking idea. And whether or not Nazca Lines actually exist, the fact that people have connected them to the Nazca Lines speaks to the enduring allure of these ancient markings. It's like we're looking at a puzzle with an infinite number of solutions.
And that's part of the allure, isn't it? The Nazca Lines don't offer easy answers. They invite us to question, to explore, to embrace the mystery.
I think that's a perfect place to wrap up our deep dive into the Nazca Lines, reflecting on their enduring legacy and what they teach us about the human spirit. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. As we conclude our exploration of the Nazca Lines, I'm struck by how these simple lines in the sand have sparked such a whirlwind of theories and interpretations.
It's a testament to their enduring power, isn't it? Even after centuries of study, the Nazca Lines refuse to be neatly categorized. They resist easy explanations, inviting us to consider perspectives that challenge our modern way of thinking.
It's like they're holding up a mirror to our own assumptions about the past, about ancient cultures, and about the limits of human ingenuity.
And in doing so, They push us to expand those limits, to imagine a world where science and spirituality were intertwined, where art and practicality were seamlessly blended.
We've talked about astronomical alignments, ritual pathways, water cults, even ancient hot air balloons, and messages to the gods. Do you think there's a danger in getting too caught up in finding the answer, the single definitive explanation for the lines?
There's always a risk of imposing our own narratives onto the past, trying to fit the evidence into a box that makes sense to us. But the truth is, the Nazca Lines might have served multiple purposes, evolving over time, their meaning layered and complex.
It's like they're a symphony, not a single note. And to truly appreciate them, we need to listen to the entire composition, to embrace the dissonance and the harmony, the known and the unknown.
Beautifully put, and perhaps that's the most important lesson the Nazca Lines offer. They remind us that the past is not a static, solved equation, but a dynamic, ever-evolving story, waiting to be explored and reinterpreted.
So as we leave the world of the Nazca, what's the key takeaway you hope our listeners carry with them?
I hope they embrace the mystery, the wonder, the sheer audacity of human creation. The Nazca Lines are a testament to our capacity to dream big, to connect with the cosmos, and to leave our mark on the world in ways that transcend time.
It's a powerful message. And a fitting end to our deep dive, a huge thanks to our expert for guiding us through this fascinating exploration of the Nazca Lines. Your insights have been invaluable.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you and our listeners.
And to our audience, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to keep questioning, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the mysteries that surround us. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Paskvan Podcasts. It really helps the channel. Until next time, keep exploring.